right, what's up, everyone? It's Zach, and today I'm here with a very special guest. I'm here with Advaith Kumar. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing really well. How about you?
Good, glad to hear it. Doing really well. Thanks for asking, and thanks for taking some time to be on the podcast.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So, for those of you listening back home, Advaith, a really cool dude. He's currently a college student. He's also a fellow podcaster. He is really big and passionate into sports, specifically the Chicago Bears. And he does have a YouTube channel where he covers a lot of things Chicago Bears related and just does a lot of content creation. So, that's a little bit about him for those of you listening back home. But do you mind giving us a little bit of your background, what you're doing, who you are, all that good stuff?
Hey, sorry about that. We could just edit that part out. But hello, everyone. My name is Advaith Kumar. As Zach mentioned, well, actually, I did graduate college in December. Yeah, December. So, just looking for jobs. So I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. But as Zach mentioned, I love sports. I love the Chicago Bears, and it's kind of funny because I don't know if Zach has told you this, but if he hasn't, sorry, Zach. But Zach is a Lions fan, and I'm a Bears fan. So
Yeah,
we're pretty much rivals if you think about it. So
you're right. Yep.
sometimes friendly batter. Sometimes I joke around with him about Jared Goff and his inabilities to be a quarterback, and my quarterback, Justin Fields, who is going to shock the NFL, just I'll say, next year. But as Zach mentioned, and I'll go into my story a little bit. I was a former podcaster. I had my own podcast, the Dreams to Reality podcast, which I might be bringing back. So exciting announcement. But I also have my own YouTube channel, where it's mostly about the Chicago Bears. But I am trying to transition to talking more about the NFL. And I'll talk about why that is in a little bit. But I'm just a very creative person. I like to be productive, and really make myself the best version possible.
Awesome. I love that. Well, congratulations on graduating from college. And yeah, like you said, it's always that tough time trying to find the next step or that job. But best of luck to you with that journey. But yeah, man. So you mentioned that you love to be creative. It's something that you've always done. You had your podcast that you might be bringing back. You have the YouTube channel. What really got you into being creative in the first place?
Yeah. I think growing up, I had a disability, and I think that made me like really, really different from like other people. And so I kind of wanted to prove myself to people and prove that I had a voice. So basically, how I started my podcast was a few years ago, when I was going to community college. I was working on an essay or a paper, I guess you could say, on Uber and Lyft and how they
Hmm.
can solve like ride sharing issues. And my the cool thing about my community college is we were really funded like really well. So we had a lot of resources. And one
Okay.
of those resources were that, we had our own like podcasting studio.
Hmm.
So basically I was thinking to myself, people are not gonna read it was like 5 pages or something. So people are not gonna read this like when it's like 5 pages. Why not make it into a podcast? I heard about Anchor through a friend. And I was like, you know what? Why not utilize this platform called Anchor and make my own podcast? So that's kind of what I did. That's kind of how my creative journey started out a little bit. But even if you go back even before, I love football. I think it's pretty much obvious 5 minutes into this interview. But in high school, was I connected a lot with the high school football team. So a lot of them
Okay.
are my good friends right now, and it just really made me like get a lot of friendships and talking to people. I like that. So I think that also is from my creative journey. And then now fast forwarding to how I started my YouTube channel. So I think I love podcasting. I love how you can talk to a person and get their stories. But I think one of the problems is growth in the podcasting. I don't think it's there just yet to where on YouTube, if you post like a podcast or you post like a video, you can go viral.
Hmm.
And so I kind of wanted to make myself known. So I kind of started my own YouTube channel, and I knew that I knew that I wanted to kind of have a different audience. So that's why I kind of also why I went with YouTube, and I wanted to like make videos and talk about the Chicago Bears, the post game, and then the post game post game analysis, pre game analysis, and as a Bears fan, Zach, I'm sure you can relate as a Lions fan. But sometimes that's hard to make personally.
Yeah.
Like when your team gets blown out by Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, the last thing that you want to do is make a video on how bad your team did. And now
Right.
that's going to change with Rodgers going to the Jets.
Of
Thank
course. Yep.
goodness. But you know, that's kind of where it started with my YouTube channel. So making a lot of these post game and pre game analysis, and then from there, I kind of took it in a way. So I kind of figured out with the YouTube algorithm that a lot of people were doing it. Just about every Chicago Bears YouTuber was doing this, and I kind of figured out I had to differentiate myself.
Okay.
So what I did was I transition to telling stories about players and really analyzing a team from a in-depth perspective. So
Okay.
analyzing, why the Chicago Bears, why Matt Nagy, for example, was so bad. Why Justin Fields like really underrated. Why Chris Sims, who's like very popular in the sports industry, like why he was wrong about Justin Fields in this like pre-draft analysis. Like when he had those
Hmm.
QB rankings, he ranked Justin Fields like uh below Kellen Mond and Trey Lance. And, you know, who knows what's going to happen with Trey Lance right now? But Kellen Mond is basically a third string quarterback on the Cleveland Browns. So I talked about how he was wrong, and that made me go like viral. That got like 11K views. And then lately, I made a video on Jack Sanborn. He's
Hmm.
basically our Mike linebacker.
Yep.
And he's a guy that every Chicago Bears fan and every Chicago Bears player likes a lot. So I made a video on him and talked about his story that got me like 15K views. So that's one of my most popular videos. So that's a little bit about me. Just a
Okay.
quick spiel, and yeah.
Awesome. So I know that from your YouTube journey, you talked about you kind of started with like the pregame, postgame analysis, and now you're shifting more towards like just specific players or specific, just kind of like in-depth backgrounds or analysis of individual players. Do you enjoy doing that style a lot more than you did like the post and pregame analysis?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of really do because I like making documentaries.
Okay.
And one of my goals is to become like really widely known by like ESPN and kind of use this as a way to like get like a job and to prove to employers that I have this talent.
Okay.
So I definitely like it. I think that I have a lot, I like to tell stories. I think storytelling is in me, with my podcast and now with my YouTube channel. So I really like it because with videos, what I do take a lot longer time. They're, I think a lot of people connect with them. I think
Mm-hmm.
like personally, when I watch like a YouTube video and it's just some person talking, I get bored. So what
Yeah.
I do is I put like highlight videos in the background, whether that's Justin Fields making plays, whatever that might be. I just put it in the background to like help tell that story and help it make shipping to keep that audience retention, which if you're gonna start a YouTube channel is very, very important. And yeah, basically I like making these videos because I think it just shows my storytelling ability and my editing ability, and um I think that's gonna make me a name on the YouTube, like one of the
Yeah.
biggest YouTubers, hopefully one day.
I love that. I think that's a great goal, and I have no doubt that you can do it. You mentioned that with the YouTube videos, it takes a little longer to put them out. For someone that's listening to this podcast and maybe they don't have a YouTube channel, they're not familiar with how YouTube works. Like, what all goes into making a video for you? So, like, what's your process look like specifically?
Yeah, so I'll give you a great example. So right now I'm working on a video on our first round pick, Darnell Wright. We
Hmm.
dropped him in the latest NFL job. So basically what I like to do first is first write my story. And
Okay.
how I do that is basically I first start up with like an attention getter. So something that'll get the audience's attention. And I try to put like maybe like I work on that for like 10, 15 minutes. And then I like to start up with like who the player is. And how I do that is by going in depth and trying to find like who they were as a childhood, how they got into football, how they got into football, what their early life was like, what their high school life was like, and what their college was like, and then what their NFL life was like. So really telling this player and teaching people who they are as a player. That's one of the first things I do. So basically, that's basically writing my script. And then from
Okay.
there, I basically use my mic, which is like a Blue Yeti. I want this to be as helpful to people as possible. So I would really recommend that if you want to get into YouTube and you want that starter level mic, the Blue Yeti is a great mic, to start off with. Now there are other mics out there like the Rode, the Shure, and those cost a little bit more. But I would say that the Yeti has done me pretty well. I do want to upgrade eventually, because I do wish I had clear audio and better audio. But I think if you're just starting off, Blue Yeti is a great mic. So then I record the video.
Okay.
Then I basically edit out all my breaths and I edit out anytime I might mess up. And I do that on Adobe Audition. But you can do that really, really like any audio editing software.
Okay.
There's a pretty good ones out there. Just look on Google. And basically from there, I transfer the audio to Premiere Pro. And basically what I do in Premiere Pro is, for example, if I'm talking about Darnell Wright's childhood, I'd like to look up like a picture of him in his childhood. And if I'm talking about like his high school highlights, you can basically go on like Huddle, and like use like a software like OBS and then download it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I do. So I put it in the background. Really in Premiere Pro, I'm just putting all the clips together, and I like to be as perfect as possible. I'd like to aim for perfection. So basically, I'm talking about, Justin Fields having a 90-yard run. I want that 90-yard run to play in the background. So finding
Okay.
clips from there, I download those clips like I'm like a that's like a lot of YouTube downloaded clips out there. So I do that, and basically I edit it out, make it smooth, and make it into like a way where people can watch it.
Okay. Got it. So, as you're walking us through your process, you mentioned just a lot of editing, a lot of getting clips and making them look good for the audience and then clipping them together in different softwares and stuff. Did you learn how to do everything like that on your own, or did you like take classes, or like did someone teach you, or how did you learn how to do everything that goes into making YouTube videos?
Yeah, basically for my script, I just looked on so basically before I even started my YouTube channel, I basically emailed like one of the big YouTubers on, the football big football YouTubers. So,
Okay.
like G&D Productions, Scott Fisher, my good friend Scott Fisher. He would be a great person for you to interview with Zach, by the way.
Okay.
And I basically Zach, Scott Fisher, Fimo Raps. I tried to email Mike. I tried to email Mike Garafone, but I never got an email back from him, so kind of sucked. But all these YouTubers, and I got some tips from them, like you know, how does the YouTube like one of the things that you have to know about the videos that I make is that when you have like a clip. So for example, I can tie this in with the line. So let's say you are having like a Jared Goff highlight reel and you want to put
Mhm.
that in your video, you can only put like 25, 15 seconds because like the YouTube censor, the YouTube thing, it'll claim it as copyright. So you want to
Mm.
make sure that it's only like 15, 20 seconds and then it won't catch it. So then, yeah, so that's one of the tips that I have. If you are doing like these video essays, you want to make sure that the clips that you have are short. Um, but basically, I just learned that from them. And basically just saw how they tell like a story, like how Fimo tells like a story. Every video I do, I try to look at how like Fimo tells his story, and then I try to like adapt it and learn from him, like how Mike Garfone does his story, and then learn from him and adapt from him, and then how J and D do their story and learn from him and adapt from him, and Scott as well, how he does his videos and adapt and kind of mix them all together and then tell in my own way. So basically learning from them. um, I don't think putting clips together is too hard, but I have went on YouTube and tried to look like some transitions, like how to make sure like your pictures stand out. So I did learn that. And really when it came to like making thumbnails, That's kind of where I really seek help. I actually went on like a call with Scott, and he taught me like how to make like a thumbnail, and then from there I just adapted it on Photoshop. Because what I was doing before, just using the Google Images, and those don't have very like high click-through rates. On YouTube, click-through rates are pretty important. So basically, I did learn like how to get the thumbnails from Scott, but the rest I basically looked on YouTube and stuff, and yeah,
Okay.
that's how I basically learned. I think all the information that you need is on the net already, and it's just up to you to utilize it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I know that you've mentioned things like, the click-through rate, the algorithm of YouTube and everything like that. Like, how I guess, like, frequently do those change? Like, how much, like, do you have to keep kind of studying the algorithm and what's gonna make videos succeed or not do well? Or does that, like, change pretty frequently? Or is it kind of like once you know it, it kind of stays the same?
Yeah, so I think with the YouTube algorithm, I don't really understand it completely. And I haven't really done a whole lot of research on that. But it works like really, really weird. So going back to my Jack Sanborn video, so when I first made that video and I posted it, like the first week, maybe it had like 200 views, like I don't know,
Okay.
something around that. And then like a few weeks later, like I kid you not, like on a random weekday, it went up from like 200 to like 1K to like 2K to 3K to 4K to 5K to like
Wow.
7K and then all the way to 15K. So understanding the algorithm, I think is really, really hard. I think it's mostly about luck, but
Mhm.
also you want to make sure that you're putting the video out at the right time. So, for example, I made a video on the Cincinnati Bengals and how they won the Super Bowl, and they posted
Mhm.
it like 2 weeks after the Super Bowl was done, and that kind of didn't do so hot. And then I made like a Tremaine Edmonds video, um, a few weeks after he was signed, that didn't do so hot. But as I don't really know how the algorithm works, if that could pick up, but it's just really, really hard. It's just mainly about luck, I would say. I wish I could provide more information. Maybe if I come back, I can. But I think it's mostly about luck. I think that when you're first starting off as a YouTuber, I don't think that should really matter. Like, don't look at your views as much as it hurts not to. I think as humans, we are engineered to care about that stuff, but
Mhm.
you just have to ignore it and just put out every video, and then eventually one of those videos will go viral. I mean, that's what happened with me, with my Justin Fields Chris Sims video. Just one of them randomly went viral, and then my Jack Sambar, I put video after video after video, and then finally the Jack Sandberg video got me a ton of views. And then there are some videos that, I work really, really hard on and they don't do so well. So it's just a matter of luck, but you just have to keep
Mhm.
on putting up videos and then eventually one of them will, get picked up and the algorithm will bless you and you'll get a ton of views and a ton of subscribers.
Right. And I love how you said that, like how we're kind of engineered to want to look at all the views or the likes or everything. And it's tough because, like, especially when you're first starting out, any sort of like creative thing, whether it's a YouTube channel, a podcast, an Instagram, whatever, like you're probably not going to get great views or engagement or anything right away. And that can be a little defeating, but I think kind of like you're saying, you gotta keep going and keep, posting and uploading and just know that like with the hard work and consistency, like it'll come with time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that sometimes, if you're gonna go off on a tangent here, um, sometimes, here, can you just edit this part out? I'm just gonna give me 1 second. I'm just gonna go blow out my nose, and I'll be back
Yeah,
in
yeah,
like
you're
30
good, man.
seconds.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm back now. Sorry
All
about
right,
that.
welcome back. All good, all good.
Yeah, so sometimes I think that as humans, we compare ourselves a lot, and that's something that I've been struggling a lot with myself since I graduated college, and even before it, comparing myself with other people and how they got a job and I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that comparison is like a thief of joy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we've talked about this personally. Like you're into fitness, and I've asked you a lot about tips. I've told you a lot about my insecurities, and you've said that you know you can't really compare yourself. It's just about your journey, and you
Yeah.
can just compare yourself from who you were yesterday to who you were today. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that that's one of the hardest parts about life and about really mental health. I mean, May is like Mental Health Week, Mental Health Month. Sorry,
Right.
and I think that comparison it hurts a lot of people, and
Yeah.
it it sucks that as humans we're engineered to compare ourselves, and I think that social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, personally, like LinkedIn is you compare yourself. Like you see someone getting like a job at Deloitte, and you're like, wow, they did that. Look at me. You know, it's hard, but I think that
Mm-hmm.
you just have to like remember that it's your journey, and you will make it big. You just have to put in the work, and eventually, you know, it'll shine for you. Like you'll get that dream. You'll get whatever you want, whatever you're thinking about. It just might take some time and just overcoming some hurdles. I mean, that's kind of how I think about life and how I deal with the stuff that I'm dealing with. Just know that, hey, eventually this will pay off.
Yeah. I think that's a great mindset, man. And I think it's the idea of don't compare to others, compare yourself to yourself. And have you improved, or are you working towards your goals, or are you working in a and getting better each and every day? And I think, like you said, comparison is the thief of joy. And it's hard not to compare yourself to others, especially with social media, especially with seeing your peers or your friends do things that maybe you want to do, or you wish you had or whatnot. But I think the big thing that I've learned that I think is valuable for anyone to know is, like, you know, you might look at someone and say, like, oh, I wish I had their job, or I wish you know, had I made the money that they made, or whatever it is. And it's like you might be comparing your chapter 1 to their chapter 20, right? So it's like we're all at different places. And like you said, just focus on yourself and put in the work, and just know that, like, your time will come and you'll accomplish what you've always wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's like a good way about thinking about life and a good way of like, you know, just going about life essentially.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. And now you mentioned, kind of, as you're just talking there, a little bit about mental health. And mental health is something that I certainly care a lot about, and I think it's super important. And I always like having the conversations about it, because I think it's a topic that maybe is talked about a little more than it has in the past, but not always talked about super frequently in media and such. So I just kind of want to touch on that a little bit. So I think, like you said, with social media and comparison, it can really drain on your mental health, and I think that that can be tough. So whether it's been comparing yourself to others, or just maybe seeing, like, oh, I just posted this video on YouTube and it only has like 100 views. How do you kind of push through from, like, the mental health standpoint of that?
Yeah, I mean, you follow football a lot, so I think that with that, you know, if your video might only get like 100 views, it's about putting out the next video. Like
Mm-hmm.
in football, they talk a lot about the next play mentality and how,
Yeah,
like, you know, for example, if Justin Fields throws like a pick, you know, the next play, he'll come back on the next series and he'll run like a 90-yard touchdown. I mean, I think he did that against the Lions. Like Aiden
I think
Hutchinson
so.
picked
Yeah,
him off. And
yeah.
then, like, after that, he went for like a 90-yard touchdown. And, you know, we sucked last year. I'll admit. You guys were
Mm-hmm.
good. You guys probably will be good this year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard for me to admit. But there you go. But you know, it's just about like going about life with the next play mentality. And just, you know, if something does not go your way, just take like a breather and be like, oh yeah, next time it'll be better. So I think that's probably how I feel about it.
I love that, the next play mentality. I mean, I grew up playing sports. I love sports, so, like, I've heard of that in, like, a sports context, but I've never really thought about, like, taking that next play mentality and putting it in actual life, where, if you have a bad day, just next play, whether that's the next day, whether it's, something bad happens in the morning, just like next play mentality is like, all right, the morning kind of sucked, but this afternoon's going to be better, or this evening's going to be better. So I really think that's a good mentality to have.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Awesome. What about, like, are there any other things that you do or you've done that help with, mental health, whether that's things like, I know we've talked about working out before, or like, do you do anything like um, meditation, journaling, like go for walks? Like, is there anything that helps you kind of stay grounded and balanced with your own mental health?
I think the gym is probably the best, to be
Yeah,
honest with you. Like you can just think about the thing that's bothering you and just go to the gym and just grind it out.
yeah.
And yeah, I would say just say the gym. I probably should look into other stuff, but for me right now, just being 100% transparent, it's probably the gym. The gym.
Okay. Yeah. And from just like talking to you like off this recording and stuff, I can tell that you've found a pretty solid passion with the gym and working out and stuff. How did that come along, and how's your journey going with working out?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think he's gonna listen to this, but I just want to shout out Luke Strogel here. But Luke has been pretty much one of my good friends, a brother to me. I think he really got me like fitness and really helped me out a lot with my form. I think that you know, one of the things that has helped me get into the gym is creating that brotherhood that
Hmm.
you have like those gym bros, making relationships with them because every day you wake up and you might not want to go to school, you might want to go to class, but hey, after that you can go and pump out some testosterone with your gym bros. So I
Hmm.
think that it really started. Like I like the gym. I like the fact that you can go in and you can get like better each and every day. That you can put all these feelings and make yourself a better person. So I like that aspect of it. But I think that what has me really made going is like creating relationships with people, and really, having that brotherhood that the gym has.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. I think that's definitely probably the best part for me too, and for a lot of people, just like that kind of connection that you can make, and just like the bonds that you can form at the gym, or through workouts, and just like you said, it's something you can do every day, and get better at it, and improve and push yourself. And I always feel a lot better after working out, or I feel accomplished or satisfied after a good lift.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely a great way of both thinking about it.
For sure. Awesome. So something this is kind of random, somewhat related to the gym, but the other day I saw you posted kind of like I guess like a food review. It was like I think it was like pretzels or something, like little like pretzel snacks. And I thought that was pretty cool. Kind of like going over, the of it, and if you liked it or not, and you went over the macros a bit. So I thought that was cool. Is that something that like you have any interest doing, kind of like fitness gym videos or content, or is that just kind of like every so often you might do it for fun?
I like to post like stuff about me in the gym just to like motivate like others in my position.
Okay.
But the food reviews, like I don't want to get into that too deeply because I think it takes like a toll on you.
Yeah,
And if you're doing like a lot of these food reviews, like going to McDonald's or going to like Burger King and all this stuff, it's gonna affect you in a bad way.
that's true.
And I think like while we're on this topic, this is like this YouTuber called Nicocado Avocado. He does a
Yeah.
lot of these like mukbangs and stuff.
Yep.
And you can see the effect that it made on him. Like he was like a guy who you know, it's gonna be a positive note, I promise. But he was like a guy who who ate just vegan food. He was like a very respectful guy. And now, or before he got into his weight loss journey, he
Hmm.
made like weird videos. Like if you watch it, you were like, man, what is this man doing? Like you don't know.
Right.
But now, I don't know if you checked it out, but he's lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And I think that's like really inspiring. Like he kind of talked about it, like a lot of people talked about it, and how he played as a character, so it kind of takes like a mental toll on you. And yeah, I mean, I really wouldn't want to get into like food reviews. I think I like the videos that I make now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, so I think that's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I know that kind of like at the beginning of this conversation, you mentioned how, um, a lot of your videos are based around the Chicago Bears, but you're thinking about maybe making them just more about the NFL in the future. What's your thoughts on that, or like what's making that kind of shift for you?
Yeah, I think that what I've kind of realized is that I'm a very detailed person. Like I think I do research better than anyone else on YouTube. And I think that I want to like learn about like other teams. And kind of honestly, the Lions honestly like inspired this.
Okay.
Um, Partly to them, I don't know what they had on draft night, drafting like a running back and a linebacker who should have gone later. But I really liked their offseason. Like I like what they did. I kind of wanted to talk about that. So that's kind of what fueled that passion. I just want to talk about like other teams and see if I can like get like other fan bases to subscribe and really grow a lot as a YouTuber. I think J&D Productions is like a huge inspiration of mine. First of all, they're some of my really good friends. Some of them like I like to go with advice to them. And they're an incredible group of guys. But I just like I'm really inspired by them. And other YouTubers, of course, like Scott Flimlo and Mike Garafone. And yeah, I think I just want to talk about like other teams. I feel like right now I'm kind of selling myself short with just Bears videos, and right now we're kind of
Hmm.
in the most boring time of football where there's like not really any much news going on.
Right.
So yeah, I just think that that's kind of me and what why I want to go into that just so I can reach more fan bases,
Yeah.
learn about like other teams, and I have like a passion and talking about like other stuff, just not about the Bears.
I love that. I think that sounds really cool, and I think that'll definitely help you with, getting more fan base, new subscribers, new viewers, and everything like that. So I think that's an awesome plan for you. I know that you mentioned back, in high school and stuff, you really got into football, or enjoyed football, and you made a lot of good friends on the team and supported your school team and everything. And of course, obviously, you know a lot about the NFL now. You follow the Bears closely. You're going to be branching out to other NFL teams, but just the sport of football itself, like what got you into football in the beginning?
Um, I don't really know. I mean, I think that I just connected a lot with people who played football, so I think that kind of fueled it a little bit.
Okay.
And I think that I like the game of football. It's very fun to watch. Compared to like a team like something like baseball or
Mm-hmm.
hockey or I just like football the most because I don't know. I just connect with it a lot. And yeah, a lot of my friends are in football, so that kind of fueled it a lot. Like, one of my really good friends got drafted by the Green Bay Packers in the second round, Jaden Reed. So, that's
Okay.
kind of
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
to
Michigan
watch.
State.
But yeah, Michigan State kind of sucks he went to the Packers. But I kind of
Yeah.
hope he would go to the Bears. But yeah, just like seeing your friends kill it on a football field, that's something that like really, really interests me. And then one of my other good friends, Peyton Thorne, he's playing football at Auburn, so he
Yeah.
transferred from Michigan State. And that's like really, really cool to go and play like at a school like Auburn, like, with
Hmm.
Hugh Freeze, who's considered like one of the brightest football minds. That's kind of like really, really cool and seeing like your friends kill it
Yeah.
is something that really, really interests me, and that's kind of why I love the game. And I think that it really creates like good relationships, like
Hmm.
at Nimbo Central where I went to. I made good friends with like Peyton and Jaden and a lot of other guys. And at North Central, when I went to college. Again, a lot of good relationships with those guys there, and some people that I still talk to every single day. So like that brotherhood, is really, really nice because when you're on like a football field with like on 3 hours, you connect a
Hmm.
lot with people. So that's
For
that's kind
sure.
of why I love the game of football, that brotherhood, and you go through your ups and downs with them.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I will have to say I am a little disappointed that your guy Peyton transferred from state. I'm a big state fan, so bummed, but excited for him. I think, like you said, Auburn's going to be great for him. I think he's going to do great things there. He's going to be great in the SEC. But I certainly will miss him in the old green and white.
You still there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Sorry, I thought I lost you there for a second.
No, no,
Yeah,
you're good. Did you hear what I said about Peyton?
yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that personally, talking a little bit about Michigan State, I think it sucks that they lost Peyton. It sucks that they lost Keon Coleman.
Hmm.
I don't know where he's gonna go, but he'll probably go somewhere good. But I think that you guys have a bright future. I think that Noah Kim is pretty good.
Hmm.
And I think that their other quarterback is Caden. I don't know what his name is, but it's like something like that. I think he's pretty good too. I think that Noah Kim does win the starting job. And Noah Kim is like a solid dude. I haven't really talked to him, but uh, he should do good at Michigan State.
Yeah.
And I think that he's gonna shock a lot of people with his talent. And I think that it's gonna be like really really cool to see him go up against Michigan. And yeah, Michigan State doesn't really
Awesome.
do too good against Michigan, but we'll see.
Right. Well, we will see for sure. So, I know that you're obviously a Bears fan, and you want to see the Bears do well and everything. But, just and I don't say this in a mean way or anything, but the Bears, they might be a few years off from being really competitive football team. So they might not be, Super Bowl favorites by any means next year, but what are your thoughts for this coming football season? Like, what team do you think, do you think there's a clear Super Bowl favorite? What like rookie do you think is going to make the biggest impact? Just like, what are your general thoughts about the upcoming NFL season?
Yeah, I think the AFC is loaded right now.
Hmm.
But I think that it's gonna be I don't know, man, because the AFC division it could go like 100 different ways.
Hmm.
Especially with Aaron Rodgers on the Jets. But honestly, Chiefs will probably be in there close. Bengals will probably be in there close. Bills will probably be in there close. Jets be in there pretty close. So any of those four teams I could see being in the Super Bowl. And then, but the NFC, um, this one's hard, but
Hmm.
actually it's not that hard. I think that the Eagles probably had a good chance. I really like what they did, surround basically becoming the Georgia of the
Yeah.
NFL. Multiple Georgia players. So we'll see what happens with that. But I think that the Bears do have a chance. I think me and your good friend Deeksview would agree with this.
Yeah.
But I think that people are counting us off. I think that we did some really good stuff bringing in DJ Moore.
Hmm.
And that's going to give Justin a solid weapon that he's never really had in his career with the Bears. And even if you go before, already he's had such a dynamic wide receiver in DJ Moore. I think that Chase Claypool's a really good X wide receiver, and he should do solid. But I could definitely see the Bears being in the hunt
Hmm.
for a playoff spot. And who knows? I'm a Bears fan. I gotta have confidence in them. And yeah, I'll say it. I think that we win the NFC North.
Okay.
Sorry, Zach, but that's my bold prediction. And then, what rookie I think will do the best? Uh, I think CJ Stroud. I have my questions
Okay.
over Bryce Young. I don't know if he can be the guy. I don't think the Panthers are equipped for success. I really like what the Texans did this offseason, bringing in CJ Stroud, then getting Tank Dell from Houston. They have a good, solid wide receivers, and then their head coach is pretty solid. Getting Will Anderson and CJ Stroud, I mean, wow, that does not happen too much often. I
No.
could see CJ Stroud being like one of the candidates for Rookie of the Year. And maybe Jackson Ejaba too. I think I like what he can do. But I think to answer your question, probably CJ Stroud.
Okay. I like that. I think Stroud can be pretty good. I I would say Stroud and Young to me are the quarterbacks from this class. I was never that big on Richardson. Um, Never big on what's his name, Levy's
Levis?
Levis.
Oh,
Not a big
Levis,
fan
yeah.
of him. I mean, I and the Lions got him. I like Hooker, but he's playing because of his injury and also because of his situation going to Detroit. He won't be probably starting anytime soon. But yeah, I think Stroud is a pretty good bet. He really impressed me at Ohio State, so I think it'll be interesting to see him in Houston. And yeah, Houston, I feel like they're a team that they're making a sneaky push to be a serious threat. Give them some time, but they're making some good moves.
Yeah, I think they're in like a relatively like a weak division as well. I mean, they're
That's
with the
true.
Titans, the Jaguars, and I think the Colts. I'm not too sure about
Sounds
that.
right. Yeah.
But they're like a pretty weak division. I could see that happening. And then uh yeah, I could see that happening. And I think that Richardson has like he's the most like boom or bust quarterback right
Yeah.
now, and I think that he can shock like a lot of people too, because
Hmm.
he has some like Lamar Jackson in him, and he also has that ability to make these like wild throws. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, definitely. We will see, and I'm interested to see what happens there. Um, I know this might pain you a little bit, and I know your bold prediction is that the Bears will win the division, but ask since I'm a Lions fan, and I know you're not a Lions fan, which is why I want to ask, like, what's your thoughts on my Lions? How do you think they're going to be this coming year? What do you think the future looks like? What do you like about them? What are you a little concerned about with them?
Okay. Sorry, I think I lost you there, Zach.
Oh, you
Uh,
could. Yeah, so I'm just asking, like, what are your thoughts on my Lions? Like, how do you think they're going to do this year? What do you like about them? What don't you like about them? What is your kind of like outside perspective on my team?
can you repeat the question? Sorry, I lost you there.
No, yeah, you're good. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So I was just asking, since you're a Bears fan, you're an outside perspective. What are your thoughts on my Detroit Lions? Like, how do you think they're going to do this upcoming season? What do you like about the team? What don't you like about the team? What are your general thoughts from someone that's not in the fan base?
Um, I think unlike a lot of Bears fans, I have a lot of hope for them.
Okay.
I think they're building like a solid team. They have who's that wide receiver that they drafted last year from
Alabama,
like
Jameson Williams.
yeah, you have Jamison Williams, and then you have on St. Brown.
Hmm.
You guys drafted like a tight end. So he should be solid. I think that Dan Campbell is going to get the most out of his players. I think he's a really good head coach. David Montgomery, I've been watching for years. I
Yeah.
think he'll be solid. He's not gonna be like that. He's not gonna be that running back that's gonna break out on large runs or big runs. Maybe he will. The Lions do have a good offensive line,
Hmm.
but to me, he just lacks that speed.
Okay.
But that's why you drafted Jameer Gibbs, so it should be cool to see what those two can do as a 1-2 punch. And that defense is solid with Aiden Hutchinson. And yeah, I have a lot of hope for them. I think they'll do good. I think people are cutting them off a little bit. But I think that honestly, it's gonna be between the Bears and it's gonna be between the Bears and the Lions for that division, in my opinion.
I appreciate the perspective on the team and everything, and I know that myself and a lot of other Lions fans, we're very delusional sometimes, and we just feel like, yeah, they're gonna win the Super Bowl. But it's nice to hear someone's perspective outside of the fan base, so I appreciate that. And I think, yeah, the Bears and the Lions, I could see them being, the top teams in the division. So I'm excited for the season for sure. I know that
Yeah.
yeah, I know earlier in the conversation you kind of mentioned how you always want to try to help people and share tips and suggestions when you can and everything. And I know that you earlier you mentioned the Yeti microphone, the Blue Yeti, was something that you think is a good starter microphone. But like, what else? Like, what other tips do you have for someone that wants to start YouTube? Maybe they know nothing about it. They want to start for the first time. Like, do you have any tips for any like equipment that they should get, or that would be good to start with, or anything like that?
Yeah. I think that one of the hardest things is just starting. And when I first started my YouTube channel, it was like a really weird vlog. Like, if you guys want to go and watch that vlog, you can. It's still up on my channel. But you can really start with like anything. Like these new iPhones are really, really good. So if you have like an iPhone XR or above, you can make a good video. And yeah, really just starting is the hardest part. Once you start, it'll get like a lot easier. And yeah, just start. But if you're gonna get really, really technical,
Mhm.
I would recommend you get like a computer where you can like edit. And you can use either Premiere Pro, or if you have like a MacBook, you can use Final Cut. Those two are really good. And if you're a student, you can get like a student discount. So there's that. And then the good thing is like you have Adobe Suite software. I don't know about with Final Cut, but you can use like Photoshop, and Photoshop is like really good to make thumbnails.
Okay.
And you can use Audition to like edit out like your breaths. They have a like cool feature where you can like see like the audio waves, so you can know like what a breath is, like what wave that is, and just set it out like pretty simply while you're like listening to music or watching a TV show. So I would recommend if you can afford it, the Sweep software is good. And just really learn. And I can even help you out and on how to edit. It's not that hard. It's just about cutting, learning how to do transitions. I think that's the hardest part, but that's what
Okay.
YouTube's for. Like you can find anything on Google. Um, and then for thumbnails, it's hard at first. Like for me, it was like really really hard. It's a big learning curve. But when you get the basics down, when you know how to like crop on an image, when you know like how to move like an image, resize it, put like a uh put like a um put put like a background on it,
Mm-hmm.
do all that good stuff. It's not that hard. You can always learn all this through YouTube. There's a lot of good tutorials out there. So yeah, really YouTube is your friend. Like you can learn anything from YouTube and Google. So yeah.
Okay. Perfect. And so I know you said like an iPhone is a good, the video quality is really good on that. So like you could just use something like an iPhone. You mentioned the microphone earlier, a computer, so you could do like the uploading and the editing. Is there any other equipment that is necessary to start YouTube?
I think that's really it. Like having a good mic is solid. I know I said that the Yeti was good, but if you can find like a better mic, I have like, some issues with my Yeti. Like sometimes I don't like how it sounds and stuff. So this is your USB microphone. So that's good. But yeah, just find like a good mic. Like you can find like a lot of those on YouTube or go on Amazon and find that out. So that's kind of what I would recommend.
Okay, perfect. And then I know that you said like the big thing is to just get started. So if someone is listening to us right now on this podcast and they're they have like their plan, they want to, make a YouTube channel about we'll say cooking or something, they want to do about food and they're ready, they're good to go, but they're just afraid to get started or they're struggling with actually starting it. What would you say to someone that is in that kind of position right?
Um, so whenever you drop this, like after you listen to this, go and make a cooking video. So take your iPhone, um, put it like on top of like somewhere where people can see you making it. Like turn it like to where the camera's like facing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Record it. And then you can basically like you can even edit it on your iPhone as well. So basically like cut out it or transfer it to like a MacBook or your computer and edit it out. And transfer the files and edit it out and just put it out. You can use like if you're just using like free software out there, Canva's like really really good. So yeah, you can do that.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, just, go do it, right? Like go do it. Don't be afraid, don't be worried. Like everyone starts somewhere, so even if your first video doesn't get a million views, which it probably won't, that's okay. You're getting practice and, just keep on working hard and just I think once you do it for the first time and record that first video, edit that first video, upload that first video, probably the videos after that they're going to feel a lot easier and it's going to feel a lot more natural and you're just going to get more confident and better at what you're doing.
I mean, I think that the first video that you put out, the first podcast that you put out, is gonna be like really really bad.
Hmm.
But after that, as things go on, you'll improve, you'll learn, and you'll get better and better. So that's how it worked for me. One of the things that I'm struggling right now is just finding that motivation that's starting to work on a script. I think starting is the biggest issue. Once you start, it gets a lot easier. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So definitely just, go get started. And I know that once you get started, it'll definitely pick up and it'll get easier from there. Um, But man, as we're kind of wrapping things up a bit, to anyone that's listening and they want to check out your YouTube, they want to check out your content, they want to see what you're up to, maybe even connect with you, get in touch with you. What's the best places for the listeners to find you?
Yeah, so you can look up my Instagram, Advaith, and then underscore Kumar1. You can look up my Twitter, King Kumar's Pod. My YouTube channel is just my name, Advaith Kumar. And then my podcast is called the Dreams to Reality Podcast. So that's how you can find me.
Okay. Perfect. So I will put all of Advaith's information that he just shared, all the social media, podcast, YouTube in the description of this episode. So you can go down there, check it out, go check out his videos, especially if you're a Bears fan. You'll find a lot of great stuff there, and just NFL stuff in general to come. So definitely check out his YouTube and then connect with him on Instagram and Twitter. Say hey, say you heard him on the podcast. Let him know, what you think about his videos or the content that he's making. And then the podcast will also include that, which like that might be making a comeback.
Yeah, yeah. I think I don't know. When I'm like entering for like these jobs, I kind of want to improve my interview skills.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm looking into. So yeah, and I would love to have you on, Zach.
Okay. Be honored to be on. So definitely we'll talk about that. And hey, maybe if you're listening to this, go right over to Advaith's podcast and hear another conversation between the two of us with maybe the roles switched a little bit. So again, the podcast will also be in the description. So definitely go check that out as well. But no, that's all that I really had for you, man. So is there any final thoughts or message that you want to give to our listeners?
I think it's just really, really starting and trying to be better than you were the next day. So that's the main tip that I would like. If you're listening to this, you want to start that YouTube channel, go and do that. So after listening to this, that's my main tip. Or go to the gym, like anything that you wanted to do, like go and do it like right after listening to this podcast. That's my biggest tip.
Yeah, I think that's a great tip, man. Whatever you want to do, whether it's content creation, going to the gym, um, reading a book, like reading more, playing an instrument, whatever it might be, just go do it. And I think Advaith's, hit it right on the head as soon as you stop listening to this. Whatever that thing is that you want to do, go do it. You won't be disappointed by it. You'll be happy that you did. And even if you're just getting started for the first time with it, you'll slowly build those skills and that confidence, and just keep on putting in the work, and you'll reach those goals.
Yeah, definitely. And I just wanted to thank you for having me on this podcast. And I wish you luck, like you and everyone else. And yeah, go and make those dreams come true.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you so much for taking the time, man. I really appreciate it. It's been a great conversation. It's been great to hear a bit about more of your story and to hear about all the great things you're doing. I have no doubt that you'll continue to chase after your goals and accomplish some great things. And I certainly will be here to support you through it all and to cheer you on and to celebrate with you when you hit all those milestones and accomplishments. So, Advaith, thank you for coming on, and we'll be talking soon.
Yeah, of course. You too.
All right. Thanks. Catch you later.
Bye.